What's up, nerds? Welcome to Nintendo Power Blocks Expansion Pack. Remember, you can find Expansion Pack every Monday at noon right here on Nerds Gone Rogue YouTube page. I'm Corey. Oh, jeez. I'm Corey, and joining me is Eddie V and Jesse. We have a question from the one and only Todd Oxtra from that their Secret Friends Unite podcast. You should probably listen to that too, because they're much more organized.
Yes.
And, well, they put on a pretty good show that's probably more organized than our shows, but it's okay. It's okay. He asks, what is the Nintendo... He actually has two questions. He really wants that headset for that competition, Ed. What is the Nintendo franchise you think needs a revamp similar to Breath of the Wild? And what franchise needs to go back to its roots? Keep up the good work, boys. So, we'll start with that first question. What franchise needs a Breath of the Wild style kind of revamp?
Metroid needs a revamp, like almost immediately. And I know Metroid Prime may be the answer to some people, but I think just the whole series of Metroid needs a revamp. Like, I think it's time to move away past Ridley. It's time for Samus to have new powers. And it's actually time for her to actually do some bounty hunting. Like, actually go after enemies and kill them or trade them in for power-ups or money or something. Like, it's really to take her in the direction of the job that she was created to have.
That was a robot at the tail end of that. That was I hear you fine. No, I hear you fine. It just like your last word was like really robotic and just drawn out like. I'm like, that was funny. It was funny. So Jesse, what do you think?
You might have to go, because I'm trying to think of like what I what I really.
Okay. I'll go then, and you can
okay.
catch up afterwards. But I think Kid Icarus is the game that I think needs a Breath of the Wild style like revamp, and not that like that game has a lot of games in the series to say, oh man, this style of the game sucks. We need something new. Like,
yeah.
I think you could make almost an open world adventure style game similar to Zelda, but just call it like, or make it a Kid Icarus game, and like solve puzzles, and maybe you have instead of like, I don't know, I would really just like to see a Kid Icarus game take on a Zelda style, kind of almost like incorporate the open world of Breath of the Wild and then like Metroid style like backtracking almost, where like you can go through and kind of, okay, clearly I'm not supposed to be in this area yet, but maybe I could break through and do it, or I can use this item that I get later in the game and kind of come back through this area and unlock secrets and whatever. So yeah, that's my pick. That's my pick.
I guess for me, like, I wouldn't mind seeing like a Star Fox that like focuses a little bit more on like playing with the characters like outside of the ships, like maybe even I don't know, like something similar, not really, but something similar to like Destiny or something where you've got like a story that you're kind of progressing through, and like you sometimes would go to where your ship is and like have to go do missions with your ship as well. But like, or even like you could have it where something like maybe even like Dead Space, where you're going out into space somewhere and you've got to like rescue someone, and you, instead of it just being based on the ship so much, you're just doing more like playing as the character, like solving things and stuff like that. I guess would be kind of interesting.
What if you got Mario Kart to be almost like open world.
No,
Dra-
no,
like
no.
like
off road.
No, but you could evolve Mario Kart into like you could almost make it like Nintendo Kart, which is it seems like they're moving that direction anyway with all the downloadable characters like Zelda or like Link and Animal Crossing characters and Splatoon characters in there now. Like you could totally take it into a Nintendo kart style thing and then like make stuff more than just karts and motorcycles. Give us Diddy Kong racing style things like rafts or airplanes or make it more of an adventure style game.
I mean, not so much as the tracks. I'm thinking more as like Outrun. That you're going to different city or different state and areas and stuff. Like it's a bigger map to drive around where it's just not level based within that kingdom.
Yeah. Kind of like almost kind of like what Diddy Kong Racing did. I feel like where like you pull up the different areas and you could race and like do different things within the race. I don't know. I think it would be interesting to see it go that direction. Let's tackle the second question since these are meant to be short videos and we tend to not make short videos ever, even though we intend to. So what games do you think need to go back to its roots and really kind of start over and take what made the game that series special and kind of
Everybody should already know that one of us is going to say Mario Party, so I'm going to say it. Definitely Mario Party.
I wasn't going to say Mario Party at all. I think that game should just go away.
No, but Hudson Soft did a very good job when the first 3 or 4 of them came out. Like up to a certain point on GameCube, Mario Party was good, and I think once they kept changing a lot of the rules and things like that, because a lot of people, I could admit, I love the mini games of Mario Party. I don't look forward more to the board and seeing who's going to get the stars to win. I really don't care about that. I really like playing the mini games with other people, and because I feel like that's where the fun is at for me. So, but to go back to its roots, for me personally, I'm going to say Mario Party. I'm just saying that one of us was probably going to say it, or it was going to come in the show that Mario Party was going to be mentioned.
Yeah, like Mario Party, I think the thing about Mario Party, probably like 1 through 7, maybe like the board game stuff was too slow, and like if they could find a way to speed up the board game aspect of it and make really creative mini games, especially for the Switch, with like you could do a combination of Wii style mini games with normal mini games, I guess, and like really use the Joy-Cons and stuff. Like, I think making everybody's character move all together was a mistake, right? And that's kind of where I know the Wii U one. I know it started in 9, but the Wii U one where like every character moves together in one car and like Bowser's like the bad guy or whatever. Like if they got back to that just like normal board game style game, and then after every turn get to some really cool mini games and eliminate the crappy like end game stuff where like, oh, you hit the most red spaces, you get a star kind of thing. Like if they eliminate that stuff and really make it like a fun board game, like I think Mario Party could be really cool, especially now on the Switch where it's like, oh, everybody can bring their Switch everywhere, so like everybody has their own screen, and the mini games could really be cool by, everybody having their own Switch, or then they could like, I don't know, they could do some really cool stuff with Mario Party.
Kind of like the first person to get like probably 15 turns, is the max. And the first to get like 3 stars or get close to 3 stars at the end, the reward stuff can help maybe if there's a tie. The reward stuff can help break that. But the first to get to like maybe 3 stars will win the game. If not, whoever did the most stuff, whatever leads to maybe 3 categories, they would get that star.
Yeah.
So So even if you don't get a star on the board, somehow the 3 rewards for at the end game would be the star. But it's only in 15 rows or something.
Yeah. 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 Mario Party. I like every time a Mario Party comes out, I'm like, I wait for reviews before I get it, but then like I'm always excited to play because it's a fun like multiplayer game for people who don't play games. Like that is a fun. Like you take the N64 one for example, and like Sana and I played the Mario Party 2 on the Wii Virtual Console like probably 4 or 5 times, and it was really fun. Like it's a fun experience for people who don't play games, and if you could somehow create that, like recreate that again, capture that Wii Sports crowd with a board game style game for people, and it's got Mario characters. Like I think that could be really unique to the platform, and it's something that people are trying with their phones and stuff for PlayStation and stuff like the PlayLink stuff, and I just think this would be a great experience for the Switch. But I guess we'll move on to my game then. I think at first I wanted to say Star Fox, but Star Fox has been kind of similar since Super Nintendo, except for a couple outliers. Like you fly the ship down and kind of do some things. But I think that fits more in the previous category, where I think they just need to revamp Star Fox and figure out what works, what doesn't, what they could add to make it a unique experience, like something like that. So I'm actually gonna erase your previous answer, Ed, and go Metroid. I think they need to go back to like Metroid, Super Metroid, and really like and they kind of did that with Samus Returns, but it's almost like a remake again, and like the first person shooter stuff is fine with Metroid Prime.
But the formula has always changed. I mean, it has always stayed the same. So that's why I feel like it needs to be new. Because Metroid really hasn't like kind of left its roots. It's always been go to this area, get the secret item, fight the boss, go use that secret item to explore more, and then go to the next boss to get the new item. So that's always been the staple for Metroid.
Yeah. Man, now I have to pick a different answer.
Reason why I say that it needs to go to the Breath of the Wild or just a new experience in the first place is because we've been getting the same power ups for Samus, and I think it's time for Samus to actually get new power ups. Like we don't care about the super bomb or the super missiles and the lasers and all. Like we did all of that stuff. Find some new powers for Samus, and be able to use those new powers to explore a world that she could actually be on. That they don't give us a linear section to go to. What we got, if we want to try to get that special weapon to probably overtake a boss or something, let us be allowed to go there. But figure out how we could get to that special weapon and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I would. Yeah, man, now I need to change my answer again. Jesse, you go. I gotta think.
Okay, yeah. The thing is, like, the only 2 games that I can really think of that have kind of made changes that didn't really satisfy my need all the time would be what Ed said, and some of these newer Kirby games I haven't really been a big fan of. When they start adding all these all this extra stuff to it, I just didn't really care for it. I'd rather have the just basic, using the powers and whatever to make your way through. And like I didn't like that. Like I bought the robot one for 3DS where you had that like big robot thing that you jumped inside of, and it was okay at first, but I just kind of got sick of it and ended up playing the other one that was more like the original games. So, and now like I just go back and I play the original games on NES and stuff, and on my Super Game Boy. So I don't know. I just liked it when it was basic and just a basic platformer. different style of platformer compared to Mario and stuff. So
Yeah.
So Kirby's Adventure or the Kirby
yeah,
games.
yeah,
I think with Kirby they try to innovate because I think
yeah,
it's so basic. I think it wouldn't move enough units and get people excited like kids and stuff. So they need
yeah,
some, and yeah, I think if that formula would have just stayed throughout 20 plus games, I think it probably would have been stale by the time it got to Super Nintendo.
yeah. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm like the new one looks like one of the best ones that they've made yet. But like for for the show, I would have picked Mario Party 2 because those new ones are just complete garbage. I mean, I didn't mind the Wii U one. Like it wasn't that bad, but the ones on DS were just miserable. Like I just could not enjoy it at all. I bought it and I literally got rid of it like a month later. So
Yikes! And,
yeah.
and the top 100 did sell well for Christmas. A lot of people, from I heard, they enjoyed like just playing the mini games.
Okay.
So
Honestly, I forgot that it even came out. I haven't even seen it anywhere.
it's at the
Oh.
stores. It's one of those sending 2 copies and they're gone. You better
Yeah.
get it while it's here.
Is that in the digital store?
Yeah,
no?
it is.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I have a better answer now. We're gonna erase my last answer, and we're gonna go. We're gonna go with Star Fox. Okay, I think Star Fox needs to, and the Wii U one was a step in this direction, and like if you didn't have the motion control aiming, like I think that game would have been a much better game. I'm sorry, like I think especially older people who don't have the capacity to like really learn new gimmicks and whatever. Because kids are always about like new gimmicks and stuff, and you see these young kids like touching phones and like figuring out things before they can even read, and it's kind of like, don't put technology in front of kids, whatever. But like, I think it's kind of amazing what they can figure out on their own, and as we get older, we kind of settle into these nice little pockets of what we're comfortable with and what we're not comfortable with and stuff like that. So like, but for me, like, Star Fox, I think, could actually fill both of these subjects where, like, I feel like it needs to be cool, epic space battles. And maybe they're on rails, maybe they're, kind of arena-based battles, whatever. But then you take... I still really like the idea of Star Fox Adventures where, like, you land on the planet and, like, maybe you gather resources and stuff and find upgrades for your ship or your weapons that you're using on the ground and kind of do a Zelda-esque style thing where like you go in and you solve a couple light puzzles in this dungeon and you get a new part for your ship to make it barrel roll faster or, flip faster or U-turn faster. What were you
I was gonna say something like Star Fox Adventures in a way, or
just like
going
similar, but like do it better. Like I think there's a way to incorporate both, like really kind of streamline it and make what people loved about Star Fox 64, where like you're flying and you go to these different planets and the different ways you end certain levels, you go to a different planet and then after you go through the ship flying part, you land on the planet and like go through, and the planets could be like shrines in Zelda where like you go through and solve puzzles, and maybe they're a little bit bigger because like you're landing on a planet, you don't want to take all this time, like take this time to land on a planet and not solve like a puzzle in 3 minutes and get back in the air. But like, maybe you have like an hour and a half style segment on this planet where you're solving puzzles, fighting enemies to find resources for your ship, and people are going to find the best routes to take when they get back into space to fight bosses and stuff. So I think it'd be cool. So
for me, and this is just an honorable mention just for the whole topic, I kind of would like to see Fire Emblem in a top-down style, like action RPG. And I would kind of want to see how Nintendo would tackle that, or Intelligent Systems, I should say, would tackle that.
Like a Diablo style kind of loot based
more like
RPG, or like a
more of like Secret of Mana, a Diablo style Fire Emblem.
That would be kind of good. I think that would be interesting.
yeah.
That was
I think you could almost do like a like I think there's a lot of
Actually,
different
you know
things.
what, Corey? I would take your Star Fox idea and do that as a Diablo style.
Yeah, I mean, I think, well, I don't know if I would go that far with Star Fox, but I mean, it could be cool though. Like, I guess it could be kind of cool if you're fighting waves of enemies, but like, I think something like Fire Emblem or Zelda or even Metroid, like that franchise, not necessarily like a proper game, but like if you go in, Fire Emblem I think fits the best, where like you go in and kind of could like upgrade your characters or whatever. You can go in with friends and you choose different classes, and then certain classes fight enemies better than others, and like you have to team up with the correct classes with your friends. But I also think Zelda could work in a almost like a Hyrule Warriors style situation, where you're like while Link's off on his adventure, you are knights for like you are like knights in the army, and you go through and kind of fight through these dungeons and kind of find things to help build up the defense against Ganon while Link's on his other adventure,
Like Shovel Knight? Like Shovel Knight style, or like...
No, like Diablo style. I think it would be awesome.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Diablo style. Okay.
And like you upgrade your armor and your weapons and stuff, and like you choose classes. I think it'd be cool. I think it'd be cool. So
yeah, that would be.
Yeah, so we've been going for about 20 minutes here, so we're gonna end this episode. But if you have a question for Expansion Pack, remember to email us at nintendopalblock@gmail.com with the subject line Expansion Pack. We'll read your question in the coming weeks. I think I like this show. I think I like how it's going. So Ed and Jesse and Corey, until next week, we love you. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.